We've got a trifecta of really cool Nintendo stories to discuss with you all today. But before we get there, Gabe, it is the night before Game of the Year.
It is.
And we have our top 10 games of 2018 ready to rumble tomorrow AM. So make sure to come back to the channel Saturday morning for that Game of the Year list. It was a definite tough one to narrow down and to make, but we finally put it together and we're ready to present it to you. Plus, this year, we want to involve you guys. So there's a link in the description where you can go and get your Switch Force Community Game of the Year vote on. We put 80 of the top Switch games in a poll, and you can vote for your favorite. Plus, we added a section if you want to have a write-in vote, or if you just want to rant, vent, or lay claim to what you feel is the best game of the year and why. Maybe you feel a type of way about Smash, Pokemon, Mario Tennis, Payday 2? Anybody?
2?
Payday 2? Anybody?
I'm writing
We're gonna
about Payday 2, Zach, just so you know.
Good. I'll keep my eyes out for that one. And we're going to keep our eyes out for the top comments, the top rants, the top responses, and we'll include those in the video as well as a compilation of all the stats from that big vote. So we'd really appreciate it if you went and made your voice heard. Link in the description. Be a participant in our first Switch Force Community Game of the Year. And then, of course, you got our Game of the Year coming tomorrow morning. But, Gabe, let's get into some of this news. I want to start with, to me, the best one, the most impressive one.
Okay.
And no, it's not about 50% attach rate. It's Sakurai explaining the meaning behind the Smash Bros. Logo. Now, I don't know if he's done this before. I have never heard it myself, and so I found it fascinating that there are two key components to this Smash logo. The man, the myth, the legend, he's made the perfect game, and it looks like he's made the perfect logo because his description is flawless. Gabe, do you know what those intersecting lines are meant to represent?
I don't, Zach. Why don't you tell me?
They are meant to represent the crossover nature of the Smash Bros. Series, how it is the intersection of all these different beloved franchises coming together. And then that divides the logo into 4 segments, which of course represents 4-player multiplayer.
Why did the segments all have to be so different in shape though? Why is there one huge one tiny one? I don't know, Sakurai. I don't know.
Well, I saw a really good explanation for that, and it's to represent that there's always one really good Smash player in your group, one okay Smash player in your group, and then 2 that just suck.
Okay, all right, I know where we fall.
Well, unfortunately, we're the small segments, Gabe.
Yeah.
Maybe one day we can be the big pie.
Yeah, maybe.
But for now, we will sit as the 2. One is almost non-existent. That little one, the bottom left little piece is just,
this is funny,
just depressingly small.
This is a weird look into Sakurai's mind that it works that way. I'm assuming it was him that designed it, or I mean, he had to have had a bunch of input at the very least.
I just love that it was a calculated move. There's a reason.
Everything he does is calculated.
Or do you think it was a post thing? Hey, we made this logo. Let's attribute meaning to.
No. I think the reason the logo is like that is because of the meaning. I don't think it's just a huge coincidence. No.
The coincidence here though is that Xbox just took the logo and squished and stretched it so that they could have their
they just resized it. They made all the sides equal. You're right. They rotated
They're like,
it.
hey, this isn't fair to have one good player, one great player, and 2 poor players. Everyone is equal on our box.
All right.
Xbox.
Okay.
The crossing of. Yeah, I got nothing, but I think that is kind of interesting. Also interesting is the fact that Reggie Fils-Aimé states in an interview with IGN that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Super Mario Odyssey have 50% attach rates for Switch. All 3 games are over 50%. So that means for every Switch owner, 1 out of 2, more than 1 out of 2, have the trifecta.
Zach, it's probably no mistake that all of these franchises have been around for a very long time. They have been able to accumulate fans throughout the years, the many, many years, in the case of Mario and Zelda, just because they've been around since the very first console. Mario Kart came through in the second console with the Super Nintendo, but yeah, that's an insane attach rate, and not a lot of other platforms can say that they have games that 50% of the people have.
Yeah, Reggie says, quote, that's never happened in U.S. video game history. I'm not sure exactly how he's, what he's referencing. I guess it's 3 games with over 50%. In general, any game over 50% is pretty crazy. It's something that definitely seems to be a Nintendo specialty because of how, 1, beloved their franchises are, and 2, the fact that they make such core game experiences that have universal appeal, and they first party pump out such fantastic games. But it's crazy, and I do wonder how long this lasts for. It's just so weird that you could find a Switch owner and you can predict. You have a 50% chance of predicting 3 of their games.
Yeah, we always talk about the pillars of Switch, right? And these are clearly it. This is what every new Switch owner is going to want to get first. Like, who doesn't want the newest 3D Mario experience? Who doesn't want Mario Kart? Who doesn't want Zelda? Like, those things being, like you said, that universal is almost unheard of, really, and they must be commended for that. And Reggie kind of flexing a little bit. It's a little bit of a flex there, saying, hey, no one else has ever done this. This is us.
And another thing that no one has ever done is release 2 classic consoles. And Nintendo put out the NES Classic, the SNES Classic. Both of them crazy sellers. Both of them had moments of extreme rarity. And both of them are going away for good. They're being locked into the Nintendo Vault after this holiday season. Reggie, in a different interview with The Hollywood Reporter, says that they restocked and got them going for the holiday season, but they're out of production, and once that stock sells out, they won't be restocked. So at some point, these will dwindle back into complete obscurity / rarity, and you won't be able to purchase them.
Zach, would you like to hear my conspiracy theory about this?
But does it have to do with the Switch Online service?
No.
Is it clearing the way for an N64?
No.
Is it all just a ruse?
No. Would you like to hear it?
Yes, please.
All right. Just this week, we learned that Nintendo is suing a human. I'm assuming it's some dude for selling these things, but loaded with other games that are not supposed to be on there. So those 2 specifically, the NES and the SNES, they were very quickly hacked. And people started loading a bunch of games on there that, again, not supposed to be there. So they have a big problem with piracy on those 2 platforms specifically. So I feel like that's why they want to do away with it.
Could play a role. Yeah. I mean, it also probably is the fact that they are starting to add more and more to their NES library on the Switch Online, and just in general, I think they stand by their original commitment that these would be limited release pieces of mini hardware. Will they ever release an N64? That's a question for another day. But if you do want an SNES Classic or an NES Classic, and you don't want to eventually pay probably overpriced eBay prices, then grab one this holiday season. That is going to do it for our little news blurb recap for you. Make sure to check that link so you can vote for Game of the Year, and let us know how you feel about Sakurai's explanation of the Smash logo. Did you predict that that's why this ball was broken into 4 quadrants? And what do you think about Nintendo achieving an over 50% attach rate for their 3 biggest games? Remarkable, to say the least. And then this NES Classic going bye-bye. We're going to wrap this up. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and its many stories. You've got you covered. Until then, though, for myself and Gabe, a fantastic day. Switch Force, out.